Hi YouTube, this is kristenmoonrise. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming super new moon in Taurus happening on Sunday, April 27th. I am a rapid identity transformation coach for high achieving, driven women. You may visit my website linked below in the description box if you would like to work with me one-on-one. So, by the looks of my thumbnail, you can tell that this will be a bit of a political post, a political video. But in 2025, if you're still a bit squeamish about politics and world affairs, then I don't know what to tell you. But if you would like to see how this is tied into the Taurus new moon and the Taurus season overall, then keep watching. So, although we think of identity on an individual basis, we know that governments, institutions, organizations, groups all have an identity of their own. So, they're written in institutional bylaws, outcomes, mission, and vision statements. We elect leaders such as CEOs and presidents and directors to implement and carry out these values. And so currently we see a lot of polar shifts happening in many countries all over the globe. And this is including shifts in identity, power, influence, innovation, investments, and resources. So we see that starkly in discussions on the current US administration and the ongoing de-dollarization of the US dollar. We see that Saudi Arabia trading oil not in US dollar but in the Chinese yuan, and my apologies if I am pronouncing that currency incorrectly. And we see that China has sent back or has returned Boeing jets to the US due to the tariffs that it had already pre-purchased. So the US is a country that is experiencing its first Pluto return, and this year, 2025, is a number 9 year. So there's this whole season is about a lot of transformations, a lot of transitions, dying off, rebirths, and tying up loose ends before their new beginnings start. So here's a chart for the super new moon in Taurus. Supermoons occur when the moon is closer to the Earth in its orbit, appearing larger, although new moons are not visible. Sunday, April 27th, 2:31 p.m., Houston, Texas, Central Daylight Time. The sun and moon are conjunct at 7 degrees 46 minutes of Taurus in the 10th house of career. So this represents public standing, recognition, authority, and alliances. So, in my opinion, one way that you know that you are achieving greater heights in your identity work is when you can recognize the individual and collective identity of others. You're able to respect the decisions others are making, even when you think that their behavior is contradictory or self destructive, or when their actions are not what you would do if you were in that position. Because you know that you are not them and they are not you. And so you may wonder why someone may hold a particular position who you think may not be qualified for it, but it's important to know that there's a larger, perhaps, purpose behind the scenes, why that person may be in that position, and what duties they are to carry out. And what they are choosing to carry out or what they have agreed to carry out may not be what you would carry out. And this can be said on the macro or micro level. So it's important to recognize the chaos. You may see it as chaos, others actually may not see it as chaos. But recognize it for what it is, but still know who you are amongst it all. But it's not all bad. As we see something is setting, there's always going to be something rising. Although this is not a full moon, this is a conjunct new moon, but still point stands. But what's perhaps replacing the current chaos at the pinnacle of power, leadership, and influence? So, as you can see from my thumbnail, I'm talking about BRICS Plus. BRICS is an intergovernmental organization, B for Brazil, R for Russia, I for India, C for China, and S for South Africa. That it now has 10 full members and 9 partnership countries, which all represent about 40% of the world's economy and over half of the world's population. So their 2 points are strengthening South-South cooperation, so global South countries, strengthening those cooperations, South-South cooperation, and reforming global governance. And so this is a new international financial order in addition to trade, economics, so much more, which sets a lot of challenges to the Western world, the global North, domination. So it sets the economic engine not in those places anymore, but now in the global South. This is also a multi-currency system. And so this challenges the position of Western-dominated institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. So there's a lot about BRICS. It's has quite a bit of a history, although it's quickly moving fast. It's happened in recent years, but it's moving very quickly with gaining more traction with different countries, basically to move away from the US dollar. So there's a lot of information out there, but I did link a helpful video below in the description box, and that channel talks a lot about BRICS. I haven't even uh, done a lot of research on that channel, but that's a place to start if you would like to know more about that if you don't already know much about BRICS Plus. So while we know and understand Taurus to represent determination, wealth, and stability as represented by the Merrill Lynch pole, this new moon in Taurus shines a light on new and long-term visions of prosperity, investments, trade, and value. So are there still going to be evil actors? Are there still going to be predators, oppressors? Are there still going to be opportunists involved? Just because this is a new shift doesn't mean that there is not going to be any bad faith bandwagon jumpers going on. Everyone still wants to be relevant in some way, even if there is a shift away from something major and into something new that hasn't been built before. These things are simply evolving and shifting, and a lot of underlying dynamics are still going to be there. They're not going to be eliminated just overnight. Human nature is still very much involved. And because of this, I think of a quote that my mother would always say. She would say, get in on the ground floor, meaning be in the room, get your spot early, and be part of the change that you see and have a say in it early on. Because if we don't implement our own plans, or if we don't make a place for ourselves at the table, then we'll become part of someone else's plans and we'll just have to follow suit according to what they say. So Taurus cultivates, and this new moon shines light on our perception of leadership and who we look to as true and not false authority. We are witnessing and can be part of global alliances. In fact, it's absolutely suggested to be part of these new global alliances, recognizing other people and other nations, other languages, and focusing on what others bring to the table, so to speak. So we can amplify new voices and implement new structures and implement new monetary exchanges while persisting in the future that we want to create for ourselves. We're still able to create and see that to fruition. So I hope that you enjoyed this video on the upcoming super new moon in Taurus on Sunday, April 27th. If you are a woman who is ready to shift her identity and live by her soul's desires, visit my website linked below for coaching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.